Welcome back, everyone. Fantastic day so far at the Emerging Growth Conference. We've got a few more presenters. Let's jump back in. We have Argentina Lithium and Energy Corp. Trades on the OTCQB under the symbol PNXLF and on the TSXV under the symbol LIT, and is focused on acquiring high-quality lithium projects in Argentina and advancing them towards production in order to meet the growing global demand from the battery sector. Please welcome President, CEO, and Director Nico Kakos, as well as the Vice President of Exploration, Miles Rideout. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us, and thank you everyone for joining our presentation and for your interest in Argentina Lithium and Energy. As the opening stated, and in fact as the name so states of our company, we are focused in Argentina in exploration for lithium, as the new clean energy drive is demanding. We have a very exciting company. I think our company stands out from our peers in terms of lithium exploration. What really separates us, one of the key points, is our experience in Argentina. Our management team and I'll go in more detail of this a little later on, known as the Grosso Group, is known as one of the award-winning pioneers of mining exploration in Argentina with an exceptional track record. And we have replicated this with Argentina Lithium. And we've got some of the most exciting exploration projects right now in that part of the world. And I think we're on our way to having a new lithium discovery. Just moving on to the next slide here. First, I'd like to state that this presentation is available on our website for you to download. And also both Miles and I will be making some forward-looking statements. So we do encourage you to have a close read of this disclaimer. When you're looking for lithium, there's few places in the world that are really where it's really as abundant to be discovered as it is in the lithium triangle. Now, as you can see in the image here on the right-hand side, the lithium triangle encompasses a bit of southern Bolivia, a bit of eastern Chile, and a chunk of northwestern Argentina. Argentina is where we believe has the most potential to make new lithium discoveries. And this whole triangle, in fact, currently produces about half the world's lithium and hosts about just over 60% of the known lithium reserves. So the best place to find lithium is where lithium is occurring. And most of the lithium in this part of the world occurs in salt lakes, or they're brines, or salars as they're known in Argentina. And we've got 4 excellently positioned projects in this area, and we'll be talking about those in more detail later. And another point of note is being in Argentina, in the northern part, the 2 provinces where we are active in here with Argentina Lithium, Salta and Catamarca, they're both extremely supportive and very pro-mining of lithium exploration, as is the federal government. Now, like I stated at the outset, our management group is known as the Grosso Group. We've been pioneers in Argentina mineral exploration since back in early 90s. We've got over 30 years of expertise, and we are extremely well known in that country. We have a vast network of industry contacts and government contacts, and both provincial, municipal, and federal. And this gives us a real competitive advantage in that part of the world. And through the last 3 decades, we've actually had quite a lot of success in making discoveries in Argentina. And for example, we've made 4 major discoveries, including the Gualcamayo gold mine, which is still in production today. We've discovered the Chinchillas silver lead zinc mine from discovery all the way into production. In fact, we partnered with SSR Mining and took that to production. we've discovered the Navidad silver lead deposit, which is the world's largest undeveloped silver deposit, and that's currently owned by Pan American Silver, and it's beginning to move towards development. And of course, in the southern part of Argentina, through our sister company, we have discovered a new uranium vanadium district known as the Amarillo Grande uranium vanadium project. So that is a great track record for success. I mean, most mining exploration companies are fortunate if they can have one discovery to their name in a lifetime. To have made 4 is one heck of a batting average. And I can tell you that we're underway here, making our 5th discovery with Argentina Lithium. On this slide, we've got images of the most recent, the current management team. Most specifically, I'll touch up base a little bit about Joe Grosso. Joe Grosso, of course, the president and founder of Grosso Group, about 30 years ago. He's been awarded Mining Man of the Year, as well as been inducted into Argentina's Mining Hall of Fame. Now, that lends our company here a tremendous competitive advantage and expertise in being able to navigate in Argentina. And of course, I'll mention Miles Rideout, who's going to be presenting in a short while here. Miles is a geophysicist with over 3 decades of experience. He lives in Argentina and has a long history in the lithium space, and is an invaluable asset to our company. Lithium, what do we need lithium for? I think it's almost self-explanatory. What's really driving the price of lithium and the demand for that is electric vehicles. As electric vehicles are being sold around the world, and more and more of them are being acquired, specifically in China as a leader, and secondly in the United States and in Europe. They all need lithium-ion batteries to store electricity, and this is what's really driving the price of lithium. We've seen the price come from just a few $1,000s a ton just a few years ago, and it hit over $80,000 a ton. So we believe that the demand for lithium is here to stay, as there's no readily replacement for lithium. And this is going to continue to be an excellent environment for making lithium discoveries. And this brings us to our projects. We have 4 excellent projects, over 64,000 hectares. And to describe the excellent attributes for each of these, I'm going to pass it on to Miles. Miles?
Thank you very much, Nico. On the map on the right-hand side, we're looking at the northwest corner of Argentina, and you can see the border with Chile on the upper left side of that map. The blue shaded areas that we show on this map are the salt lakes of northwest Argentina, and the red outlines are the Argentina Lithium projects that we're currently working on. Now, going back in time about a little less than 2 years, we were looking at revising our strategy, how to explore in Argentina and what we were exploring for. And we took the conscious decision that we would look at mid-grade brine basins. Because we're a small Canadian junior company and we're looking for growth opportunities, we decided that our best opportunity were in these basins where we would be able to acquire large blocks of land, explore by applying geophysics and drilling, and then take the projects on to the next step where down the road, potentially we would partner with other companies or do a direct sale. Those final steps in property development haven't been determined yet. So we identified 2 prominent salars where we would make our primary effort. In the northern part of this map, we have the Salar de Rincon. So that's in the upper central part of this image. And what's interesting there, it's a very large basin. It's about 20 kilometers by 20 kilometers. The central part of the basin has a resource that was purchased by Rio Tinto Mining at the beginning of 2022. Our property, we have a couple of properties there. They're on the western margin of that basin and also north of the Rio Tinto resource. So, that's the Rio Tinto resource is a multi-million ton resource of lithium carbonate equivalent with mid-grades in the range of 300 to 400 milligram per liter lithium. And Rio Tinto is developing that property and drilling it out and planning to take it into production. We are drilling on our properties beside Rio Tinto, and we're on our 7th drill hole right now of our initial 9-hole drill program, but I expect we'll continue drilling there through 2023 and into 2024. We have a large property package. And our objective is that we are showing that we have the same brines extending under our properties that were, the same quality and composition as the brines that Rio Tinto has. And so our objective here is to finish our exploration over the next year, drilling out, exploring the properties with geophysics, drilling the geophysics targets out, and then proving a resource. I imagine that as we go forward, we will be defining the resource in parcels. So the initial parcel, we'll finish that drilling with a 9-hole program. We'll be publishing that resource. As we move on to the adjacent property, we'll take a look at that in more detail in a few moments. In the southwestern part of this same map, you'll see a very long salar. It's that diagonal blue streak, basically. That salar is the Salar de Antofalla. It is 130 kilometers in length and about 7 kilometers across. We have the northern block of Antofalla. It's a large property package, approximately 15,000 I think it's 15,000 hectares. 10,000 hectares. Sorry, 10,000 hectares we have there. Our property is adjacent to Albemarle Corporation. So Albemarle is the world's 2nd largest producer of lithium carbonate, and they have the central portion of that basin. Again, it's a mid-grade basin. The Albemarle resource, it's many millions of tons of lithium carbonate equivalent with an average grade of 350 milligram per liter. And our property is the same salar, the same elevation, and our historical geophysics shows that we have the same depth of basin that Albemarle has. Our property is currently in permitting. We expect to receive our permits during Q2 of this year. And at that point, we will begin our new geophysical exploration program, which is about 3 months and 110 line kilometers of TEM surveys, transient electromagnetic surveys. And then we will commence a large drill program with the objective to demonstrate that we have the same brines that Albemarle has in their resource extending under our property. To give a sense of perspective, our property is 27 kilometers north-south there. So it's a very large project. It's about 3 times larger than our Rincon project, and the brines have similar potential to Rincon. So to take a closer look then, this is that northern property at Rincon. The green areas are our claims. The central white block on this image is the Rio Tinto ground. And then you'll see some irregular blocks on the eastern side of this image, which is Argosy Minerals. Argosy is an Australian lithium company that is taking their project into production. They have a resource. Their market cap is approximately $800 million Australian. We have a similar property position. We've been drilling on our property for about 10 months. Our ambition is to produce the same type of success that Argosy found at Rincon. I think we're well on our way to doing that. And our market capitalization is less than $35 million Canadian. So simply based on Rincon, I think we can anticipate that we can produce a lot of value for our investors by proceeding with this exploration over the next year to year and a half. This is what it looks like when we're at work. So that drill has been working on our property now since May of last year, and we've just finished our 7th drill hole, and we're going on to complete 2 more on the initial property block, and then we'll be moving onto our next property block, which extends eastward onto the salt crust salar. When we began our exploration, we began by doing a geophysical reconnaissance over the property. So the purpose of this was to actually demonstrate that we have the same brines that are found on the salt crust salar, which you can see on the right-hand side of this satellite image, and that they extend under our property. Our property is sort of a sandy gravel beach environment, and our geologists anticipated that the actual salar itself extended underneath our property as a type of a wedge. So the thick side of the wedge would be on the eastern side as it comes off the main salar, and that wedge extends under this sandy basin where we're working, thinning as it goes to the west. So our initial move, this was in March of last year, was to conduct these transient electromagnetic sounding surveys. These are configured as cross sections in this case. I've blown one up so that you can see how these appear in detail. So you can see that the topographic trace of the ground is the dark line across the upper part of that image. The upper white layer of material is either dry sediment or sediment saturated with fresh water. Fresh water is relatively resistive electrically. We get into the purple units. The deep red and purple units are electrically conductive. They are brines, in this case bearing lithium, and they're extremely conductive. They are about 1 to 1.5 ohm meters resistivity. When we're out close to the salar, the brines are so thick and so conductive that we are unable to see through them with this kind of geophysics. As we move towards the west, the saturated column of brines becomes thinner. It's still not exactly thin. We're drilling in the area right now, and typically we're seeing the brines from about 100 meters depth down to 300 meters depth. And that's reflected in this geophysics as well. So typically we see a 200-meter column of brines on this property, and that is the purple layer that you can see there. And then when we can see through those brines, we can see into the more resistive, competent rock down below. So all these sections are laid out over the ground, and I completed an interpretation of where we anticipate those brines occurring on this initial property block, and that is the area shaded in yellow. So I've removed the geophysics sections. You can just see the area shaded yellow. About 65% of our initial property block has potential for these concentrated lithium brines. You'll see there's an extension to the east from our property. It looks like an upside down L, and that is a second property acquisition that we completed in approximately July of last year, and that's where we will be taking our drill next. So come March or April of this year, once we finish our initial drilling program on the starting property, we'll just be moving that drill out over the salar and continuing to define resource in that area. That area is unshaded right now because we do not yet have the geophysics there. We will conduct the geophysics and move the drill onto that property as soon as we receive our drilling permit, which we would anticipate in about March of this year. And we'll carry on with the same drill and the same geological crew, and we'll just keep working there. And then we have 5 exploration holes planned there, which should be completed during 2023. We'll be drilling 1 production well for pump testing on the same property. And then we'll go up to the northern block, which does not appear in this image, but I showed it in an earlier image. There's another large block. It's about 800 hectares up north of Rio Tinto, and we'll carry on a similar work program there, leading with geophysics and then drilling out the property block. So that's our strategy. We have a large property position. It's about 3,700 hectares here. And our ambition is to define a large mid-grade resource and then look at development strategy for that resource, which may be partnering or direct sale. And I'll just point out some of the early results that we identified in our drilling are shown on the screen here. But what you can see is large intersections of grades varying from 225 to about 380 milligram per liter lithium. And we continue drilling that out. We're showing, let me see, I guess we are showing 7 holes on this project thus far. We're just finishing the 7th hole, and there will be 2 more going into that central basin. The second area which I'd presented earlier is the Antofalla North project. So the green area are our properties up in Antofalla North. In the southern part of the satellite image, you can see an oblique figure with a thin black outline, and that is the northern part of the Albemarle Corporation property. So where they have, I say, a multi-million ton resource of lithium carbonate equivalent with an average grade of 350 milligrams per liter. There's no drilling in the northern part of the basin where our properties are located. This is a very large property block. It's, as I say, 10,000 hectares. And we'll be leading with geophysics as soon as we have our permitting in place. And we'll be drilling here from about mid-year through to the end of 2023 in the first pass of exploration. And then once we've identified the key areas with lithium, with high lithium values in this basin, we'll be doing infill drilling next year. This is a large area, and I expect that we'll be drilling here for at least 18 months. How am I doing for time? Let me just see. Good. Okay, so aside from those 2 key areas, we're also looking at prospects for the future. So I believe that both Rincon and Antofalla are excellent areas for developing large mid-grade resources. But looking towards the future, we've positioned the company to be able to continue to develop large basins. So this is the Pocitos Salar. This is located south and a little east of our Rincon project. This is a very large basin. It's about 60 kilometers north-south and about 20 kilometers east-west. And we've acquired approximately 20% of this basin. Currently, there is no resource published on this basin, but there are companies, our neighbors, currently drilling out the basin. And I would expect over the next 18 months or so, we will see resources published here. At the present time, we're only contemplating doing geophysics on our properties and getting these projects ready for a later drill program. I anticipate that once our neighbors have completed their resources, there'll be much more information available about what depths have the highest potential and certain elements of the geology, which will help us in our development here. And I'll just point out the basin itself is highly underexplored. There's less than 20 holes drilled on this basin. Every hole that has been sampled has produced lithium values. It's just that thus far they've been of marginal economic value and no one's developed a resource. But certainly our neighbors are getting about developing resources in this area. And so this is something that perhaps our investors will be interested to look at. And this is an area where we'll be working down the road. Then this is a similar area. This is on the southern part of the first map that I showed, located about 30 kilometers east of the Albemarle property in a separate basin. This is our Incahuasi project. We've claimed the entire Incahuasi basin in the province of Catamarca. The area is prospective. We have 4 historic drill holes here that produced an average grade of 109 milligram per liter lithium. and our surface sampling reached values of better than 400 milligrams per liter lithium. A point of interest in this map is if you look at the southeast corner of this map, you'll see a very dark black volcanic cone. And located between our property and that volcanic cone is Lake Resources' Kachi project. The Kachi project has an average grade of 290 milligram per liter lithium. It has a large resource that was published by Lake Resources, and they are proceeding with a pilot plant currently. So it's something to watch. Our project is the adjacent project to that. What we have planned for Incahuasi for the foreseeable future is extensive geophysics over the entire area. We will be correlating those geophysics with our historic drilling and sampling, and we will be planning a drill program for this area once we have completed our work at Rincon and at Antofalla. As I say, these are future projects. They're very large. I view them as sort of strategic acquisitions. These areas could have immense value as the lithium market develops and as large, lower grade resources become of primary interest. I think that we're very well positioned to take advantage of that. In the meantime, though, our work is focused in Rincon in the north and Antofalla in the southwest. This is our work program for 2023. So we'll continue running our drills on Rincon and working from where we are currently, working out over the salt crust salar out towards the Rio Tinto properties. Thus far, we've been very successful with everything we've endeavored to achieve. And with Antofalla, we're in permitting right now. Once the permits are received, which should be the beginning of Q2, we'll be conducting the geophysics and then starting our drill program. And then for Pocitos and Incahuasi, for this year, it's simply contemplating advanced geophysics so that we can plan how we will develop those projects in future years. That's my part of the presentation. Nico, have I missed anything?
No, you haven't. Thank you, Miles. In our capital structure, we have just we have 129 million shares outstanding. We have a market cap of just under $40 million Canadian, and our treasury is full. Thankful to the financing we completed in the last quarter. We've got over $10 million in our treasury right now, and that's more than sufficient for us to execute on all our exploration plans for the current year. So this is a story. This is a very exciting exploration play here, like Miles has outlined, as we continue with our ongoing drill programs. There's an excellent potential to uncover and to add significant value for our shareholders. And I think, in my opinion, this is the stage that has the highest inflection and potential to increase value on a company like Argentina Lithium. And I believe we're well underway and well situated. So with that, if you have any questions, by all means, reach out to us. There's our contact information. We're happy to answer any questions. And I thank you for your interest and for listening.
Great job. We do have a little bit of time for some questions. Let's see what we can fit in. So what is the mining climate like to move projects forward in Argentina?
I'll reply to that.
Sure.
I think that of the companies in the Lithium Triangle, Argentina is by far the best destination for investment. Argentina is facilitating property acquisition, development through drilling, and the northwestern provinces are intensely interested to see these projects proceed. So I think that this is a great place to develop lithium projects, and thus far every project that has gone into advanced development has been a success. And
what will be the major catalysts to help your stock performance?
I think that the key thing to watch, well, we'll be announcing all our drill results as we go along, but the key thing would be to look for us to announce our first resource, which should be about the midpoint of 2023. And then at roughly 6 or 8 month intervals from that point forward, we will be upgrading and advancing our resources because we'll be drilling out new areas. And then next year, second half of this year, we'll be announcing the initial resources, or the initial results from the Antofalla North project. That will be very interesting to watch. And then during the course of 2024, we'll be working to bring out the initial resource calculation for Antofalla North. That should be a very strong push for our company to bring in a major resource in Antofalla.
And when will you need to do your next funding round?
Well, we just completed a funding, like I stated at the closing there. We'll be putting together our budgets for the next year, probably sometime this fall. And we'll be looking to, once we have those budgets finalized in terms of what program we have for next year, we'll be looking to do a financing probably in the fall of this year.
And probably our last question due to time. Are you being approached by some large investors?
Yes, yes, we are. There's, I think there's a lot of excitement for the quality of the projects that we've got here, for their location, our initial results that are proving out, our initial thesis here, and our track record, and in Argentina, our expertise there, and our technical expertise. I think there's there's a lot of interest being attracted right now, especially that we're at a relatively low market cap, and as we're moving forward through this inflection phase of value adding to the company, I think it's a great time for them. They recognize this is a great time to be investing and approaching us.
If someone's interested in finding out more information, who should they contact?
Well, you can contact either one of us. I've got on the screen here Sean Perger. He's our investor communications, and he will ensure that whatever question comes in, it goes to the right person.
Okay, perfect. Gentlemen, thank you so much for this presentation. We would love to see you again in the future with your updates.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna.
All right. Okay, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back with our last presenter.